I know there's a few people waiting for this video, and if I'm being completely honest, I didn't even know this was a release from Citizen, but thankfully my contact Richard over at Saltzmans was like, "Hey Rob, do you want to check out the new Citizen Series 8?" I'm like, "Yes." And then I had to go look it up, and turns out it's a pretty dang cool release. This is what they sent over from Saltzman's, Rhode Island. Link in the description, all that good stuff. They're the my preferred authorized dealer for Citizen watches, as well as many others, Breitling, Tag, and Luminox, and some more. But there are some GMT options with a rotating bezel. That's really cool. And then this is the more like, I don't want to say basic, but the more, chilled out version with an inner rotating bezel. Still has, a bezel, it's just inside. But let's get into the specs on this thing, because it's a pretty dang cool watch. And on wrist, insane comfortable for the size of this watch, for sure. So I'm going to give you a couple measurements. So for the width. So I measured from here to here, and that is 42.8 millimeter. I think that's a fair measurement. But I also, maybe you wanted to know this part without the little bumps here, just the fixed bezel on top here, from here to here is 40.5, just in case you wanted to know. The lug to lug, 47 millimeter thickness. It's only 12.25 millimeter thick. There's not really a lug width because it's an integrated bracelet design. So the width from here to here is 24.5, and the bracelet does taper down to 20 millimeter. And then you have a 6.9 millimeter unsigned crown. It is I thought it was a screw down. It isn't a screw down. It's just a regular crown. But it still has 200 meter water resist. That's what it said on the website. Interesting. Slick bracelet. It looks like pin and collar. I don't see a split on there, so it's probably some pin and tube. And then you have a simple fold over clasp, just double pusher here. No micro adjust to speak of on this guy. I don't see any anywhere. Unless they hit it somewhere and I just can't find it, but it does not appear obvious to me. Inside is the Miyota 9051 movement. This is their current 9000 series movement. It's anti-magnetic to right there, 16,000 amp meters. Made in Japan, so quality control should be on the higher end of things. Sapphire crystal, all of that good stuff. Water resistant right there, 20 bar, yeah, 200 meter, and it's a push-pull crown. That's pretty cool. Now, you do have access to the spring bars, so at some point, I'm sure there'll be straps available. The part number on this is called the NB6060-58L. Retail price, it's up there a little bit. If I'm completely honest, it's $15.95. The GMTs are like in the $1,700 range. You're not going to pay that. There's a discount code in the description if you want to order it online, or if you want to hit up Richard, get a hold of him, tell him I sent you. Take full advantage of being part of the Random Rob viewing audience, and go to Saltzmans and get it from an authorized dealer and get a discount. So why would you not do that? Only kind of makes sense, right? If we take a closer look at the dial, we have some design work here. We have some patterns going on with the dials, and that's the case with all of the dials from the Series 8 launch from Citizen. They all have some pretty cool looking dials. Really nice, bold, applied markers. Makes it look a lot more premium. They really stand up from the dial for sure. And then you have that framed date window. I talked about this with the Tag. It is slightly submerged in. It's not fully submerged in, but it's not just sticking way up. That maybe it's just a pet peeve of mine. When I don't mind. Actually, if it's done my pet peeve way, a framed date window like this one, it's fairly clean. The Tag was a little bit lower, but this one's nice and clean. It's not just obtrusive and just sticking way up in the middle of nowhere and just creating more depth for that date window, which makes it harder to read the date. That's the reason why I say that. Pretty cool design features, for sure. Really nice thin package. Sapphire crystal, chamfered, just slightly proud of that fixed bezel. And then this is the crown for the inner rotating bezel. There's no clicks or anything, and it doesn't screw down, so it doesn't lock in position. but you have it for timing purposes. If we go ahead and pop this on my 7 1/4 inch wrist, you'll see this tag is definitely prohibiting me from achieving that goal. Love these tags. Okay, thank you, tag. Okay, there you go. I mean, it's perfect for my wrist. It wears great. Nice weight, thin, spread out. That's a great watch. I hopefully will be able to get Richard and the gang over at Saltzmans to send over the GMT models too. I want to see all of them now. And they have limited edition ones. They have some like IP coated cases where they're like rose gold looking. So I'm a little less interested in those, if I'm completely honest. But there is one GMT that's kind of, if I remember it, it's kind of like root beered out. That one I want to see. But they all look really good to me. Let's give it a quick blast with the UV light. Let's turn off the studio lights. Citizen lume on watches like this is usually spectacular. I was going to guess it was going to be a bright blue because a lot of the Citizen lume in the past has been a bright blue. This is definitely a bright green. Well done. Again, big thanks to the entire crew at Saltzmans. Tell them I sent you. I'll see you guys on the next vid.